this was built into the system as far as we can tell, so really it was going to happen probably sooner or later, and it did happen.
Well, I mean, first of all, if I can just apologise to all those people who were affected, the businesses and residents of the area. This has never happened before, and actually leaks like this are incredibly rare on the island, but we do need to learn from it. You're quite right. One of the problems to begin with was that a customer at one of the local restaurants phoned the MUA saying, our water tastes fishy. So staff went there straight away, but we had quite a job trying to figure out where the water was coming from. It wasn't identified straight away, and it took a while to actually identify it, cut off the supply, rinse it all out. What we're now doing is looking at why it happened. You're quite right when you read the joint press statement put out by Manx Utilities and the Steam Packet Company that there should have been a non-return valve used when this sort of hosing down happens. It wasn't there on the standpipe, and we need to know why. What we did on Saturday morning, as soon as the snow cleared, was put a non-return valve into the main system so that this sort of thing can never happen again. But we need to learn from it.
Who put this in the first place? It was presumably the pipe authorities. The authorities put it in.
Yes, Manx Utilities are responsible for putting the mains in. Also, because this is the harbours, we have links with the Department of Infrastructure as well, who run the harbours. And also we've been working very closely with Public Health and DEFRA in terms of testing the water supply to make sure that it's absolutely safe to drink now.
You didn't get any fish in the system, did you? I don't know how big the pipe was.
No fish, but certainly a fishy taste and a fishy smell. And again, I have to apologise for this. What I would like to do, though, is publicly thank all the Manx Utility staff who dealt with a very difficult situation on Thursday. And of course, Friday we had all the snow, and they were out trying to restore power at the same time as going door to door around that area, knocking on over 800 customers' doors to make them aware that at the time they had to boil the water before we got the all clear.
Salt water is corrosive. Has it done any damage?
That was one of the problems initially, was to find out whether this was a continuous leak or for want of a better word, a one-off squirt into the system. It was a one-off squirt. So the source was identified, the entire system was flushed out. We don't think there's been any major damage. The problem with this was that we didn't know how far it went up the system. And so everyone that could possibly be affected had to be warned, and we had to send samples off to check for bacteria, to check for contamination before we could give the all clear. But lessons will be learnt from this, and what's come out of this is actually working quite closely with the Steam Packet, with the DOI, with our customers to make sure that we learn the lessons, that this sort of thing never happens again.
And just finally, the packet saying, we're sorry, we made a mistake. Well, it didn't really make a mistake, it was just using the system in hand.
It was using the system, but we should have used it better. There should have been better protocols.
But by we, the government?
No, by we being the Steam Packet and Manx Utilities. We should have worked together a little bit better. We should have done what we're now doing is a proper risk assessment to cover every single eventuality. This has never happened before, but it could have happened.
And hopefully it'll never happen again.
No. Well, I mean, as I said, on Saturday morning, a non-return valve was put into the whole system. So this sort of accident will never happen again. But what we need to do is look at those areas where we've got industry using freshwater supplies to make sure that a similar accident can't happen anywhere else on the island.